It's a very difficult question, I think. Parents aren't teachers. They're not designed to be their child's teacher. Um, and I think you expect, as a parent, you expect more of your children. So your patience and the way you work with your child is already shorter than what a teacher's one is. So I think for parents, they just need to take a step back and just thinking, I'm trying my best. I don't have the skills. I'm trying to be my best. And just remember that your relationship with your child, I think at this point, is more important than the academic work. It's easier to sort of catch up the academics than it is to sort of repair the relationship with your child after the fighting and that might happen when you are trying to homeschool your child and you lose your patience and so forth.
No, absolutely. And in defense of parents, I mean, children themselves don't respond to parents homeschooling in the way that they would respond to their teachers. They don't have the same kind of attention span. Snacks are always on their minds because when they see mom and dad, that's what they see first. So children themselves, you kind of have to put on these different hats. You need to be mom or dad, but then you have to switch and take on a whole new persona where today I'm actually your teacher.
Yeah, I think that creates part of the problem as well, because home is not school. Home is supposed to be home where you feel safe, you feel loved and nurtured by your family and supported. And now mom and dad are maybe forcing you to do things, or the caregiver or the granny or the aunt or whoever is helping is now forcing you to do things that you might be struggling with, that might not be easy for you. And then they start to sort of close up and shut down. A child will always give more for a teacher. I see it with my own kids as well, and I see it with the children that I work with, is that they're more willing to produce good work for someone who's not their parent. Yeah. So I think for a parent to try and juggle this, and I think this is where it becomes very difficult, is then a schedule. It's so important that they're trying to stick to a schedule, that the children knows what to expect. They know in the morning, like let's say at 8 o'clock or at 9 o'clock, we're going to start our schoolwork. And if it is possible to sort of design or get a place in your home that is school, so away from maybe their rooms, if possible, where they then can go to and get into that school mode. And you as a parent then as well can get into that school mode. And now it's time to sit down and start with A, B, C, or D for X amount of time. And then I go break, where I then leave the schoolroom to go play outside or to go interact with my siblings, or maybe do a quick Zoom call with a friend to talk about the work and what was difficult and so forth. But then to have sort of try and get clear expectations of this is school and this is your school space and the rest of the home is still home and nothing there has changed.
Andiswa Gebashe, I want to bring you into the discussion. Andiswa is a parent who is homeschooling her daughter, who is currently in grade 1. Andiswa, I'm sure you're listening to Landi and nodding your head just like I'm doing here in studio. It's just the start of the school year now. Is this your first foray into homeschooling?
No, we did homeschooling last year for grade 1. Oh, wow. And we thought, this year would be much better. But like she said, I'm not a teacher. I am a parent. And I don't have the skills or the patience where you're doing maths and you're doing 5 plus 3. You take your potatoes, you take this, you take that. They still don't get it. And then after an hour, they get it. Yeah. And you must still be a cheerleader and clap and give them a sticker. And I don't have that patience. I used to think I'll homeschool my child. Yeah. Not anymore. It's okay. It's not for me.
No, listen, you and me both. Is that AJ in the background?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
We're seeing some beautiful photos of her. And in the photos, she looks very, very attentive as she does her schooling at home.
Oh, I believe everything you see on the photos, eh?
Okay, so tell us about how you are, I've been talking to Landi about these different hats that you have to put on when you do choose to homeschool your children. You have to, in some way, sort of remove your mom, dad, or caregiver hat and take on almost a different kind of persona because now we are in class, even if it is at home. How are you doing that?
Yes, definitely. Well, I had to be very creative and role play, We do like, this is a drama now. I'm now a teacher, you a student, just like how she does with her dolls and her toys. So that has helped a little bit, but after an hour, she's like, no, I'm done with this drama now. Can we play another game? And that's how I get her to learn something. Otherwise, she just doesn't take me seriously, And I'm starting to lose my street cred as the cool mom and the fun mom.
Yeah.
Because now I need to teach her stuff. And it's really difficult for me because I really don't have the skills.
Landi, I want to bring you into the discussion here because I think so many people can relate to what Andiswa is saying. So how do you do this balancing act, and how do you encourage your child, even at grade 1, because it's not like they're expected to do a full day of schooling, paying attention for 3 to 4 hours at that stage. So if we're starting at grade 1, going up to, let's say, older kids in primary school, in terms of managing the expectations of the parent, how much should I expect my child to be in classroom mode for homeschooling?
I think that's a quite difficult question to answer because some children will do much better than other children. So I think you need to engage with your child and see what is your child's limit. So Andiswa mentioned that she can see for an hour her child can concentrate and do fun, and then they start to struggle. Then you do hours at an hour at a time. So you do the hour, you go out, you have some fun, you kick a ball around, you play with your pets or whatever is fun for your child, and you interact with your child then in a fun way if you are able to, if you're not working from home as well. And then when they are decompressed a little bit, then you go back and you try again. For other kids, it might be shorter periods. For these children, that might be able to sit for 2-3 hours. And just also remember that a school day has periods. So it's a half an hour, 40 minutes at a time, and especially for the grade ones. There is a small break, even if it's a 5-minute break from switching to your maths, to your English literacy or your life skills. There's a short break which gives them these brain breaks. What I also find could possibly help is switching it around. So instead of, if your child's struggling to sit, instead of having them sit at a desk, maybe go outside and do your counting outside while kicking the ball, or counting the acorns that you pick up, or to try and make the learning a fun experience. Because if children have fun, then they'll learn easier.
Yeah.
Whereas opposed to sitting at a desk and being forced to do things that I don't really understand, especially grade 1s, because it's new concepts for them. But whereas you go outside and make it relatable, you can bring in stuff. If you're doing maths, it's like baking with your child. If they're counting them.
Right, apologies for that. We seem to be struggling with our connection to Landi there. Andiswa, I want to bring you in for just a wrap-up of our interview. Is there a chance that we can get AJ on the phone?
She's been jumping around me. I think she is.
Hi, AJ. Are you paying attention?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine.
So are you being a good school pupil for mommy?
Yes.
You are? What have you learned so far?
Yes.
What are you learning so far?
I'm learning grade 1.
Wow, very good. Can you give me an example? Do you like counting and sums?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good luck with everything. Good luck with grade 1, and pay attention to mom, okay?
Okay.
Well, there you go. Andiswa, I've just sorted out all of your homeschooling problems.
Thank you. She is jumping up and down. And it's not even 9 o'clock.
Listen, best of luck to you for the day. And before we let you and Landi go, I actually want to ask you a question. We've been having some great fun with our discussion today, but I want to talk about the socializing issue of homeschooling your children, especially our younger children. They're taking a large amount of strain being away from their friends. They love being in touch with kids their own age. What kinds of impact, if any, I mean, I don't hear any, but are you seeing that AJ is sort of struggling to reintegrate when she does have a chance to be with other kids her age?
No, luckily, because she's got a lot of cousins her age. I mean, she does miss her friends at school. But me and my cousin have created a culture of 1 week all the kids are with someone else or for a day or two or a weekend so that they can still have those social skills. I mean, but she's generally a talkative out there kid. So she's like the leader of the pack.
Yeah, I can.
So,
I'm not surprised to hear that. Andiswa, all the very best to you and AJ with the year ahead and with homeschooling for the coming year. Landi, before we let you go, the issue of socializing, AJ is obviously quite lucky to be able to have contact with cousins and people in a family her own age. What about kids who are not able to have that contact given the pandemic?
I think it's another difficult one because kids do need to socialize, and the younger you are, the more exposed to other people you need is to learn those very crucial social skills. But I do think that parents here can play a role, and for them to sort of then step up and play the games with their kids and interact with them, and just follow their lead. So for parents, if they can then get down to the child's level and play the tea party and play the dress up and the interactive games, and try for that 10 minutes or 15 minutes that you're putting aside to play with them, to be their friend and to teach them the skills. And if you see them going wrong, no, remember, we ask, we say please, we say thank you, we don't just take things. Sort of then also, again, the role of teaching them the social skills within your home environment. The same that you would have done when your children were very little before they went to school. Yeah. Is then to teach them. And if you're able to, like Andiswa, have a group of friends that are socially distancing, that that they're careful about it and that you feel comfortable with, is to do as many play dates as you can, for them then to interact with others, and just also then maybe to get out of the house. Because I think for a lot of kids, just the fact of being stuck at home and not going anywhere, apart from not being able to see their friends. Sometimes they just want to go to the shops. They just want to get in the car or the taxi and just drive and get out of the four walls. And I think us as adults also sometimes feel like, oh, this is getting too much. I need to go for a walk or something like that. So I think that can also help.
Great advice there. Thanks very much for that. Landi Blok Van Cronesteyn is an educational psychologist joining us there as we try to understand just how parents can cope with homeschooling.